Welcome back to another episode of the Legion Lads. I am your host, JR. And today we got Jose, Roman, and Palpatine. How's it going, guys?
Yo, yo.
Oh,
Hello.
So this week or last weekend, we had Vet Fest. Super fun, awesome. Roman, thank you for putting that on. It's
Thank
super
you,
fun to
brother.
do. But
Yeah,
I
glad you guys
figured,
had fun.
we'll just talk about it, see how it went, and how everybody's experience was, little games and whatnot. So I wanted to talk about, well, honestly, Jose, you said you wanted to mention tables real quick.
Yes. So I all the tables are amazing. First off, the best award for best prettiest functional table goes to Nick's Christmas Wonderland. That table was freaking awesome. I don't know what he used to put it together, but that was of the
Everybody loved that one. Everybody, even the
yeah.
non-Legion players,
Everybody
people
did.
combined like that's the best one.
Everybody wanted, and I got to murder tauntauns on it. It was awesome. But no, that was the funnest table. I would have to say the most thematic table was the Endor one. Like that one was like I played on that one. I played on that one too, and it's like I was in the trees. Like it was actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
It had a
When,
really
when you
like
look at it, when you
what?
look at it for like Star Wars, you're right. Like that's very much you look at it instantly know Star Wars. I would say that one and the desert Tatooine one were the two most like Star
Star
Wars
Warsy
levels we had.
ones. Yeah. So this isn't a complaint or nothing. I was just realizing when you play on these tables, I really think we need to go with like the provider of the table needs that document like for what is what. And the reason I say that is because when I played on certain tables and I played a certain way with my opponent, we agreed what's what. And then overhearing like in the background other players play on that same table and it's completely different. Like I feel like that has a could have a potential impact of the game outcomes because two different matches had two different types two different setups. So for instance, like when me and Grayson played on the Naboo table, like
Yeah.
if you're looking at the Naboo table, it's buildings and it's like railings and
Yeah.
some like two like
Some pillars,
some
columns, yeah.
yeah. And so me and Grayson were looking at it and we're like, well, realistically, like this is all heavy cover. Like this is all
Yeah.
heavy cover. And it's like, okay, so me and Grayson were like trying to figure out like, well, we can't do all heavy cover. So what do we do? And we're like, hey JR, how do you play this? Like, oh, these are heavy. JR, you are no help whatsoever.
Well,
And
okay,
so
first off, why
so
it's all about you guys rolling up to the table and you decide like,
no,
okay.
but that's what I'm
Yeah, it's
getting
up to
to.
you.
That's what I'm getting to.
Mhm.
It's like if we were me and Grayson didn't play that entire table as heavy cover. We did not play it that way. But hearing other people play on that table, they were like, "Oh, everything's heavy except for these vases." There was like four vases,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that can lead to a very skewed outcome simply because players dictate what the terrain is, can easily go into like I'm not gonna say gaminess, but it's like okay, well, if I'm playing a white save army, then yeah, this whole table is heavy. It's all brick, pillars, concrete. It's no bush. It's flat land. It's heavy. But if you're like, okay, well, no, this isn't all heavy. Like at least two different gaming experiences, and like I said, just over the one day of the event, hearing how just in the background, very aware of like what's being said, like I was hearing like different calls that weren't the same that I played on, and realizing
But
that
but that's good though. That means everybody's talking about the terrain beforehand instead of coming into
but
it
it
later on
lead
and being like, "Oh, I thought it would be this or that." And yeah, it might
yeah,
lead
it
to
skews
a
the
different
stuff
type of game.
though.
Yeah, and it might even if it's the other way around. If they determine it beforehand, you might be like, "Oh, this is nothing but light cover. This is nothing but heavy cover." That's just the luck of the
Yeah,
draw
but
when it comes
you're
to what table
but
you're on.
but if that's already decided, then you know that the people behind you are going to have that
I,
same rules to work with.
I
And
Well,
think
who cares?
that's
That's their game.
yeah. That's actually okay. That's actually okay. This is something I kind of talk about all the time. This isn't we're not playing a video game. This is a miniatures game. There's variation, there is differences. It's in the rules that you can discuss terrain, so it's almost designed to be your experience and doesn't have to be the same experience from the game before. So I think that's totally fine if it's different.
And it's
Yeah, that
interesting because
Naboo.
I feel like light cover is one of the harder ones to establish because heavy cover is also good for red saves, right? As much as it is for white saves. It's when light cover comes into the mix that's when you start getting things gimmicky, right? Because you're like if my whole list had sharpshooter one, now I kind of want more light cover because then my opponent will have no cover, right?
Yeah,
So I feel like the
yeah.
safe bet for most people is just make it all heavy, you know?
Yeah, but that was just my thought for that day, like just hearing
Yeah,
everything.
that new Naboo table is hard though, because there's not a lot of other well, we're trying to keep it like thematic, right? Make it look like it belongs there. And we tried putting some of the indoor like the aquarium trees there, and it just
Didn't
wasn't
work.
fitting.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I know during Scott and Grayson's game on that Naboo table, they were disagreeing on what the railings were, right? They're like, well,
Hmm.
one of them wanted, I don't remember who wanted what. It was like he's like, hey Roman, we need a ruling, and they're like, I want this light, he wants this heavy. What is it supposed to be? I'm like, well, the rules of the game is you guys decide. And he goes, well, we're at an impasse. I'm like, then you roll a dice. Like
Yeah.
it's 50-50. Like, that's just
Yeah,
the rules of the game.
and that's the thing that gets me is like it's like one of them clearly wanted it a specific way to game their army the advantage, and I feel like that sucks because it leads to stuff like that. Whereas if you have a list and it's like, okay, these railings are light, these
So
pillars
here,
are heavy,
if we're talking
then
about, if
then
we're
you're not
talking
gaming
about that,
anything. You just get the hand you were dealt.
yeah. So here, well, that's
Because
all
some of
right.
the
So here,
people have been
let's
played
go.
on the table, the same table more than once.
Yeah, that's the software, dude. I tried changing it up, and no matter what, it kept showing the little picnic table. I was like, I don't know what to do, man.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's where I mainly
but
got it because
in the sense of coming up with rules for all these tables that I've really never seen before, let me tell you my VetFest experience. I went to the shop at 11:30 at night. I was there till 2 in the morning. Got to sleep at 3 in the morning. Woke up at 7:30 in the morning to be at the Memorial District at 8:30 in the morning. Set up tables until I had to go to work at 9:30 at the shop. I worked at the shop all day. I ran the Star Wars event and we ended up with the extra fourth round, so I didn't get out till 9:10 ish. I got to the Veterans Game Fest at 9:30. I saw Caleb and Nick playing Crisis Protocol. I set up the last three tables that night, went home, got to sleep, woke up at 6:30 in the morning to be there at 7:30 in the morning to start registering. Had everybody booted out because of the software. Started the event like 15 minutes late and then went about the day. So I just don't know where in that
well, yeah,
timeline
no,
it's
no,
supposed to fit.
I
Coming up
no,
with
no, and
rules with every individual
yeah, and I
terrain.
have an answer for that because I already knew you were gonna bring up your schedule, and here's the thing I can put out there is most of the events, at least the major events, all the terrain is donated and is donated in packages. This box is this table from this person. This box is this table, this person. Okay, cool. So whoever's donating the table, so JR, you would have your list in your box of what this table is.
So
And
I'm
and
actually
then all of a sudden now there's Roman doesn't have to go and manually pick. The person who's donating the terrain has already established the terrain rules. They're in the box with the terrain and can be placed by the table.
Now this may be a cop out.
Oh
This
God, here
response
we
to
go,
this.
Nick.
This may be
Here we go, Nick.
the reason why we shouldn't do that is for one simple reason. That's not what the rule book says.
Yeah.
The rule book specifically says
Rules
opponents
as written, says Jose.
decide the terrain.
And
That's
we
it.
and the rule book's stupid on a
well,
lot of
hold
things.
on. So like I'm glad you brought that
Sorry.
up because like I figured Roman you did have a lot of time and you're doing the best. And the tables on
Jared
there
had a
honestly
list. Tell me you had it printed.
they honestly look really good, like thematic wise, and like I think our tables look like the best out of everybody's there. For Star Wars anyways. And like what I like to do is I have like the little platforms where you put it in their difficult light cover and you put little like terrains and then if you put more pots and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
like scatter, like the
it's
little
scatter
whatchamacall,
terrain.
yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
light
The
cover in there.
templates.
It just wasn't used on the table when it was being made.
Well, and
That's
that's
why
the other thing I was gonna say when it comes to determining the rules is there's stuff that could be light cover, but it just doesn't work or doesn't fit or it doesn't like you need to fill out the table a certain way to where it's like, all right, we're gonna get rid of this big giant piece, or this is all clearly light cover, but it doesn't cover enough or doesn't do this and that. So there's a lot of it. Yeah, because I think the indoor for sure has like enough for almost two tables worth of terrain.
Oh yeah.
And then the snow one too. But the snow ones are notoriously hard to get a good table out of because even the Bakersfield guys were talking about it, where it's like you legitimately just have to invest in trenches, like little trenches to have good
Because
like
they have
heavy
that same
covering on the
table.
wet.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I
And
think
it's
the hop one is my worst table one because it's the least amount of LOS I have in to put on a table. So like I always
yeah.
when I make a hop table, it's more open because of that reason. But
Buy more
obviously,
laser cannons.
Oh,
well, honestly, sometimes it's okay to have an open table,
I
right?
think the yeah, sometimes it's fine. I mean, that's just luck of the draw. And
Yeah.
again, like they said, you really just got to invest in the I gave you some JR the
Yeah, yeah.
little trenches that are like high. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's hard to get stuff that is silhouette blocking. But that's when stuff like throwing them on like an elevated platform, right? Like throwing them on a big ice chunk or something like that might help it out because it raises it all overall. There's ways to get around it. That hog table, dude, I walked by I think the second or third round and somebody pushed the giant hanger mound from like somewhat in the corner to like way in the middle where it was like touching other stuff. I'm like, dude, there is literally like, yeah, I'm like, this whole corner right here, there's like a good like 2 square feet of nothing. Like, how do you guys keep playing
It
this? Like, oh, we
was
just thought
it was
that's the way
Scott
it
bumping him
was.
with his bus. Stop busting this
that
bit
that
here.
So
table just
I
needed
pulled it
more
back.
Christmas buildings. Just need more Christmas buildings on it. It would have been fine.
Nick is
I got
right. That
extras. I got extras.
I got extra.
So
Like I got the solution right here.
so that like I said, that just being said, it was just because I think it was my third opponent. He got stuck on the same table back to back, and when we were talking about the tables, he was like, "How do you want to do this?" It was at the with the little U shape with the stairs and the U shape on the other side. It's like makes like a broken circle, and he was like. He's
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He's like, when I played my last opponent, like he made this way harder than it had to be. He said this was two separate pieces with difficult. Then down the line, the stairs were difficult no matter how high they were. And and I just went with it. And I'm just like, yeah, don't. And so when we played it, it's like, this is clearly you have to climb over it. And clearly there's stairs. You should be able to walk upstairs. Like it's not that difficult. But that was just an example of he had a way better experience. Granted, he kicked my ass, but he had a way better experience with me making that simple, just this is how this should function versus what sounded like, and I'm just making an assumption here that the other opponent was like this is this and then proceeded to actually have the advantage of that table side. So like I said, I'm not a fan of, I get it's the rules, but I'd be lying if I was to say that nobody looks at this rule set and it's like, I'm gonna game this out for me. And if you don't like it, we're rolling. There's a 50-50 chance I get my way anyways. Like, it's so stupid. Just play it the way it should be played. Don't try to rule it for
But
your
that's the
favor.
thing is, as of
Typically.
right now, defining terrain is gimmicky. No matter how you slice it,
It's
it's
Yeah.
gimmicky.
so
Because you can make
stupid.
the argument. You can be like, oh, well, these are clearly heavy cover. Look at it, cement, whatever. I'm like, well, what if it's just, chicken wire with
What if it's foam
plaster
painted as
over it?
cement?
Yeah, see, that's what no, but that's true though. Like if you go to buildings, there somewhere is just the chicken wire with the plaster over and it's painted up there. And you treat it like cement, you throw a hammer through it and it's gonna go through versus an actual cement banister that'll stop it.
I'm
So you can
I'm
make the argument of like these are Chinese made apartments that are I forget what that term is, but the Chinese have been getting scammed out of making apartment complexes out of basically sawdust and stuff, and they fall apart when people try to move in. Like there's yeah, you can make the argument for just about anything, like when it comes to
all
rules.
all the
Nick.
tape all the
Nick,
tables are beautiful.
you have
That's
more
all I'm gonna say.
experience with the war games. How do you think the problem should be fixed?
He already said.
Well, aside from
Nick
the
said
rule
2D
books, right?
He
terrain.
said 2D. I
It's
remember it's
2D terrain. That's how this should be fixed.
2D
I,
terrain sucks. It's
so
boring.
well with categorizing terrain, I don't think we have a problem. I don't. I think sure you have things come up now and then, but overall, if you want to look at the things that we have trouble with compared to some other games, we're we're not even close to the problems they have, or the arguments, or the just the people not agreeing to things. Like we're nowhere near there. We are in a good space when it comes to
We've got
when
it
we
good.
go to a tournament and can have a fun game with an opponent. Yeah, so I think we're actually okay. I think we're okay.
Bring on the MCP numbers so we can just be done with it. My
Well,
character's size 1, this building size 3. You can't see
right.
shit. So sorry, wrong. Sorry, Nick. Sorry.
Hopefully with the AMG making terrain pieces, they might start coming out with actual rules and stuff for it. That'd be nice.
Oh yeah, that would help a lot.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
dead serious. I'm hoping something happens.
Well, that's
Mini
what I like what
seven.
they did with Marvel Crisis Protocol. It's like Nick was showing me that all the terrain has a number underneath it, so it's already defined. And
Yes.
I wish they would do that. I mean, honestly, with the terrain that they're coming out of Legion, I hope they do. I hope they'd be like, hey, this is designed to be heavy cover, and line of sight blocking. Like perfect. Just give us a definition of it, what it does.
Like we're not gonna get it. I don't expect to get it. But if Mini
Well,
Extravaganza was like, here's the new defined terrain rules, and it was simple and none of this interpretation, I would shut off the cast and be like, yep, Legion's back, baby. I don't even care about the rest of the news. The table debate is done.
Well, even if they came out with terrain that had rules and stuff like that, you can't really expect a tournament like an organizer to have all that, like to go out of their way to get so much terrain, get it all built up and painted when they already have so much at their disposal. What they needed to do is what they had before, where it would be like this type of terrain has these rules. Remember they had terrain for or rules for like water, buildings, ruins, stuff like that. They just needed to have general ideas where it's like, all right, this is defined as this, or this is defined as that. And then if it comes down to like there's close proximity of like, well, I think this is more, it's less rubble or more ruins than it is rubble. Well, I think it's more rubble than it is ruins. Then you can call over a judge or figure out the disagreement. But if they did have some type of guideline in general, because they used to, right? Like I'm not just
no, it was there.
They did. It was pretty loose though. It was still a
but
lot of
it was still
decisions.
defined.
Yeah.
Like a river was a river. That was it. The river rules were the river rules. Where it got messy was, what is a river to you, JR? I don't know. This little stream is a river.
Well, I was gonna say this looks more like a creek.
All water. You know.
I did see something cool at the Vet Fest. Me and Rob saw it where I don't know if you guys noticed the big Vietnam game on the side.
Oh yeah, I was there when you were asking about it.
Yeah, so they had these like strings around tufts of terrain, like trees and stuff. And I was like, what is that? He goes, oh, that's the area for that terrain piece. I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea, actually, because you can just lay it out and be like, anything in this is this, anything in this is that, and then just have different things. So maybe not have it just be straight up string. It can be like maybe some type of like wire or whatever. That's like, all right, yellow is light, cover, orange is heavy cover. Put it around like little areas or whatnot. Like, I don't know, there's interesting things to do, but yeah, at the end of the day, the rules as written, Jose, rules as written is you figure it out with your opponent. Do you want to play the game right?
So
I have some words for LJ when we go to LVO. LJ have some grievances.
Hey,
Your
as long
rulebook
as we get
sucks.
a happy medium open tables and LOS tables, I'll be content. Like, let the dice decide. Let wherever you get placed. But speaking of that, let's go over each of you guys' experience at VetFest. Let's first, Roman, give it to us, man. How was it judging? How was it being? I know you didn't get to play because you were obviously running it. Like,
just running stuff, yeah.
Yeah, tell us that experience.
It was fun. Like I told you guys, I had a crazy, like couple of days. That weekend was just a little rough, lack of sleep. But overall, it wasn't too difficult. Learning new software, there's pros and there's cons. The one thing that definitely threw a wrench into everyone was the points defeated.
Oh yeah.
With Game Uplink, it was just straight up you punch in all the units you killed from them, and there you go. It's easy peasy. With this one, it's like, all right, time to do math and have good reading comprehension. And most people didn't have good reading comprehension, or if they did, they forgot. But other than that, it worked fine. The software's a little weird. Again, there's stuff that I like and there's stuff that I don't like with it. There's no timer, so I had to legit just be on the dot, like putting alarms on my phone, just to, make up for everything. Again, everybody was really good about showing up for the most part on time. I think the only one that showed up a little bit later was Michael, but we managed to squeak him in. Yeah, everybody was good. Again, I was really upset when it just booted everybody because I was clicking on the, check in player, check in player, check in player. Clicked on all of them. Cool. Start rounds, remove all non-checked in players. So just, Toby and Caillou. And then it just booted everybody. I'm like, awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad Nick was there though, because Nick has experience with the system. So he's like, all right, let's do this. And there was still a few things we had to figure out. But it was fun overall. Again, I don't think there was a whole lot of crazy rules questions. I think fortunately in between JR and Rob and me, we kind of covered a lot of it. I had a little bit more time to look up the forums if needed. Nobody really, got too crazy over rules questions. I think the only one that ended up kind of being a bummer or a little difficult to swallow at the end was the LVOIS like second place thing at the end of the event. I think that's the only one that came into a surprise to just
What
about
was
everyone
that?
except one person. The who, first, if the people going into the last round, so the fourth round at this event, if they're both undefeated, they're automatically first and second. So it doesn't matter what your final
Mm.
standings are at the end.
Oh,
Because
that's
initially,
dumb.
yeah. So initially, yeah, because like if somebody went 2-1 round three, and then they go 3-1 round four, they can technically come out
Okay.
second place instead of third. So what the other thing though is they did say on there if there's three people going in round four, um, then it's not automatically just the top two. It's like whoever places well at the end of it with tiebreakers and stuff. So I'm like, this is just a little weird, a little convoluted.
Mm.
Now, you don't have to say, but like, who was the best player that you had like good standings with, and then who was the one that gave you the most crap during the tournament?
Well, it's always Jose. That's giving me a No, I remember telling people I'm like Jose's being good at this event. I forgot who I was talking to. I'm like, yeah, Jose's not arguing with anyone. I think it's because Toby's not here.
No, you know what it
There's no
was.
gas for the fire.
You know what it was is I didn't have any really crazy like interactions because nobody wanted to get in
Yeah.
Dooku's face. No, Dooku, the only times Dooku got in melee was when he chose to get in melee. Nobody wanted anything to do with Dooku, so there was no, oh, you're a millimeter off. Oh, this force, but nobody had the balls to rush Dooku. So I was just like
Oh
Right.
playing
yeah,
passive
nobody's rushing Dooku because of
bro. I was
Makashi
playing.
Mastery.
These were the four most relaxing games I'd ever played. Oh, here's a white save. Oh, I lost a droid. That sucks. And nobody's shooting Dooku. And then the people who were shooting Dooku, I was deflecting every time. I'm like, these force users aren't broken. I'm getting my surge to block. What is this? So I this was the most relaxing event I've ever played, dude. Like
So
Yeah, I
oh,
think
full
the
stop.
only rules questions that we had that were a little difficult initially was the whole overrun stuff. But when we looked it up, I mean, I showed you the ruling. The only
yeah,
reason I found that out was round one is we had to clarify that.
What was the ruling, or what was
Luckily,
the confusion?
so
so it's
I
so
didn't
weird.
know. Yeah, I didn't know that you can hit the same target twice. Like if you
Yeah,
move. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I thought it was just you can only hit a target once per activation.
No.
my
In,
But
twi-
they
in
photocraft is
have
twice.
still
to.
unpainted, gathering dust because of you, JR. Remember that you ruined overrun
But
for
they
me.
they they do have to have overrun two or more, right? Like
Yes, correct.
that's the
Yes,
rule.
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
Which again, when you read it, it's a little confusing. So I remember like, having to look it up afterwards and be like, oh yeah, you could. They just have to it's so weird. It's like one does it the first time, the second one, it's the other guy doing it,
Mhm.
basically, kind of the way
Yep.
the
Yep.
rules work. So but again, we learned that round one, and from the rest of it, I learned that round one for round four when JR was playing
Yeah.
against it. And then other than that, it was just a lot of like, oh, line of sight rulings, distance rulings, right? Is this within range, this and that? Which again, like I'm doing the best I can. I feel like I did a good job. We would move terrain pieces out of the way if we had to. Sometimes it doesn't come out in your favor. I know JR had a couple where it was just like, yep, oh dude, I'm like a millimeter off,
Mhm.
like but yeah, that's just the rule sometimes is when you have somebody to come over and make it legit, like sometimes it's just legit not in your favor. Like like
Yeah.
when it's absolutely not. And that's just the game, right? Like nobody really had any issues. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that came up that was difficult.
You
But
need to
everybody
make yourself a Legion Lads referee jersey. So when you're the
That'd be
nah.
judge,
sick.
dude, when you're the judge, that'd be sick, bro.
I ain't got that kind of money right now to throw around, unfortunately. Dude, I'm so broke right now. Oh, dude,
Christmas
like,
gift
yeah,
for
just spent
Roman
a bunch of
now. We gotta pitch in.
just spent a lot of money this last weekend, dude. Like, I don't know. I'll talk about it later. This isn't Legion Lads
Yep.
related. But yeah, dude, no, it was again, it was fun overall. Everybody had a good time, gave out some cool prizes, right? The OP kit was cool. I like this idea. I know Brad and I and some of the guys were talking where it's like I would rather not give out like a hunk of plastic, whether it be terrain or a trophy or whatever, and keep it free basically to enter or as cheap as possible, then charge $10 per person and be like, here's a train set you might not use, or here's a trophy that you're probably not going to care about. Like um, with the Veterans Game Fest, they lowered the price from last year, which was a great idea, right? It went from $40 for the weekend to 25, and then they left it up to me to determine the entry price for the for Legion, instead of them just saying it's $20 to play, and I just said it's free. Like if
It
people
was
want to come and
so
play, they can
dope,
come and play.
bro. It was
Like it's
so
just
dope.
I know everybody would rather spend less money, dude. Again, what am I going to give out that's worth the collective amount of money? Like um, I got those 3 medals for everyone, for the top 3 players. I paid for the kit. Even the pizzas. I paid $50 out of my own pocket to have pizzas delivered, like so there's just it's one of those, like, I'm putting in as much as I can to keep it cheap and easy for everyone. And again, it looks like everybody had fun. A lot of the guys are looking to play. Next year, what we might even do is, if we can, so they're cadets. I don't know if you saw next to us, there was the whole little cadet area, their little campground. A lot of them were interested. We had some guys come and play Sunday. And what we might do, I might talk to the guy that runs all the cadet programs if they want to do a cadet only tournament next year. If
That'd
they
be
all get their
dope.
own minis, or this, it'd be cool to have like a second, kind of like a junior or cadet like event side by side with ours. Because if we manage to get 16 players again or more, like next year, it'll be good. And then to have more tables as well. Like I think we can make it a big thing. I'd like for this event to be basically Legion brings the players, Legion brings everyone. And so by us bringing that many players and commanding that much of the room, we have a little bit more access to like tables and time as well. Because I would like to get there earlier if possible and stay a little bit later if possible. And to coordinate with stuff, because I would definitely like to have an MCP event next year, and even like a Shatterpoint one or something like that. That'd be cool to
Shatterpoint.
just kind of like, yeah, just kind of like spread it around, have a little bit more control to do stuff like that. Maybe do Crisis Protocol on Sunday or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But it was fun. People had a blast. Rob taught a couple of players Sunday, and then I taught 2 guys, and they were really enjoying it. They By the end of the first, when they finished their first game, they were like right away like, "Oh, that was so good. Like, can we play again?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. I don't care, dude. Like,
Hell
I'm here
yeah.
anyways." And then as they were finishing the second game, they were just like, "Dude, this is so much fun. We have to buy this. Like, we have to." And the
Yeah.
other guy that was playing with them, his buddy, was like, "Oh, I'm already invested in Warhammer, this and that." And the guy's like, like, "Oh, we'll see. We got it. Like, I'll figure it out." When he left, the guy was like, "Hey, man, his birthday's coming up, whatever. Can you do you guys have this right now?" So they're already planning on getting into
There
it.
you go.
So
Awesome.
yeah,
Good to
that's
hear.
a big
Glad
part
to
of
hear.
just having the tables and stuff is displayed. Is it looks cool, attracts people, and then we can get new players. Every time we have new players, hopefully that just grows the community more and more. And again, I feel like we had a lot of good players. I loved a lot of the guys that came down from NorCal, and a lot of the guys that came down from Bakersfield were really cool. Like
The
I'm glad they
travelers
rolled up.
were
I'm glad I got
dope
to meet them. Yeah,
because they
yeah.
traveled to the event. That was so cool.
There was a lot.
Well, Brad came up from Pendleton, dude. That's like so far. It's like 5-6 hours.
Yeah, it was finally nice to play
And
him. Like I know he won the tournament last time, and he's a really good mall player. And so playing him is kind of like a mirror
yeah.
match of like who's gonna do what first. So I had a lot of blast playing against him in that one. Um,
But how'd it go for you guys?
yeah, yeah, Jose, let's go over. Tell us your list that you took, and then like your experience, like the highlights of the games that you played, and like what your overall thought was.
So let me pull up my list real quick. I do really like this list. I am gonna make some changes to it, so I'm gonna have to go to Bakersfield to battle test it. Let me pull it up real quick. So the coolest thing about this event, at least well, personally cool to me, was I have all my stuff on the table, and then this is kind of sucks at the same time. The stigma that there is I had about half of the people that went stopped at my table and like, oh, you're playing EXD, and I'm like, Dooku's right here, bro. Don't no, I'm not playing EX cheese. And their mouths dropped like the Zeus playing CIS and did not bring EXD. Like, what's wrong with them? And I'm like, everything. I don't like meta stuff. Like I'd rather lose 9 times to a medalist and then
And
kick the
complain about it?
and then kick the shit out. Hold on, and then kick the shit out of it and be like, "You suck, fuck, f your medalist." But they don't need to know I lost the other 9 times. It's just the one time I won, which is what really mattered. So
And I'm gonna
people,
complain about every
it
game.
was it was kind of it was cool because my whole thing was I've taken Anakin everywhere. Anakin's my most played unit. I've taken him consecutively to major events. I've taken him to I've taken clones to every event I've usually go to, and I was just like, you know what? Like the game is stale to me. Like I know I can bring Anakin. I got the reps. It's like know like the back of my hand. And I've been on a big Dooku kick lately. Just love the count. He's just character wise, unit wise, he's amazing. So I was like, let me do something fun this time and see what happens. So I named my list double the pride, double the fall, and I brought it was 798. It was Count Dooku with Force Push, Force Reflexes, Force Barrier, and Vigilance, backed by two super battle droids with the Hot Trooper and the T series, two battle droids with the rocket launcher, and then two battle or B1s, two more B1s with the PK series worker droid and the portable scanners, followed by three BX strike teams with the sniper and the emergency transponder. And then I ended up bringing all of Dooku's command cards along, and then along that I brought ambush, push, and Roger Roger. And then my deck was intercept, KP, hostage, recover the supplies, major offensive, rollout, long march, advanced positions, hostile environment, supply drop, fortified positions, and limited visibility. So
how'd your games go?
the game. So here's the weird thing. Like I'm not gonna try to sound like this was, I don't know. I finished 2-2, but I when you come home and you're like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
And you think about those pivotal moments that you're like, screw me, I could have easily did this. So when we get
2020.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So first off, Jared had me make some edits to my deck beforehand, which was amazing because those actually played into those hostage, recover, stuff that I didn't really think of. So when I was blue player and chose to take my deck, like it really benefited me a lot. And it also aided me in the fact of when I looked at my opponent's deck and we had like almost mirror decks, I knew I was in a good spot. So I never really got a flop I didn't like or played something I wasn't ready for. But what got me in, and this is where I'm gonna have to eat my words, when I tell you, when you guys are like practice, 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 and I'm like, screw practice, I'm going in dry. That screwed me so much. And it came on two things.
What do I
that
know? What do I know? I don't know.
No, I don't believe that.
I
Yeah,
know,
you know,
right? I
Can't
know
believe that didn't work.
it was terrible.
I don't practice,
So
Jose. It's okay. I don't practice.
so no, he just runs Grogu and everything. I can't
I was
run
about to say he just runs Grogu.
I can't run Dooku and everything. No, so here's so the first game was against Grayson, Bakersfield, friend of ours. He throws the events out there. And when I played Grayson, let me see. We got into, where's that? How do I bring it up? It's not letting me. Oh, it's info.
The two times that you lost, were you blue player or red player?
There we go. So
Green player. How does that work?
you're no. So I want to say in Grayson's list, I was blue player, and we ended up playing limited viz, long march, and recover. And so the reason that we flopped to those was just because like I saw that he had the bus, he had Wookiees, and he had like frail white save stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like I can get there. I got scout, everything's cool. But the weird thing is I lost the game on turn 2. And the reason I say I lost the game on turn 2 is I gotta ask you guys, when you guys see an opposing Han Solo, they got sorry about the mess, they got change of plans. There's no way around it. So where I lost on turn 2 was that on turn 1, Grayson positioned the bus and offloaded the Wookiee into base contact with the center box, which was fine. I pushed Dooku up, I pushed battle droids up, and they were ready to just go. And so the conundrum I had was we're going into turn 2 command cards, and I'm like, Grayson is a very intelligent player. He has to know that I'm gonna spike the 1 pip on Dooku and massacre this this Wookiee model, or at least make it to where he can't. He'll have to. It's not gonna be as easy as picking it up and running. So in my mind, I was like, he's gonna play Change of Plans. And I was like, okay, so now let me not play Change of Plans, or let me not play Fear, Surprise, and Intimidation. Let me play his 3-pip. This way, when he changed the plans me, now I play the 1-pip, and here we go. We do the flop, and freaking Grayson does not do Change the Plans. He does his 1-pip, which was he did his 1-pip.
His 0-pip, really, his 0-pip, because it gets to go before ones.
No, he didn't even do that.
Oh no.
He played push to Maya, you disappoint me.
Oh.
Had I just went with my initial let me charge, I would have had it.
So why'd you second guess yourself?
Because I was so sure. Because if I've played Han before, and if I got to beat you, it's like Nick said, it's the 0-pip or it's the Change of Plans.
Sure.
And here's the other. So it's like I try to use that advantage, the disadvantage, and try to flip it in my favor. Because if you play Change of Plans and I play the 3-pip, well, guess what? If we tie, I win, and if you change your plans, me, I win. Didn't go that way. He won, got the box, and took off. The rest of the game, I spent trying to chase him down, and eventually got to the point where there was no feasible way I could break that box loose from anything and come out on top. So I ended up conceding, I think, the top of round 6.
Sounds like Dooku was too old.
I feel like in that mindset, like you have to force your opponent to play your game and not their game, right? You're trying to anticipate what he's gonna do. I say play the 1-pip. You play the 1-pip, you force his hand. Let's say he does play Change of Plans, then you play the other 1-pip, right? You gotta not second guess yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
Just like
It's funny because that's what Grayson said.
is that what he said?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
basically said, he's like, oh, you could have forced me to do, or he goes, you would have forced out this or this and that, and goes, or you affected it, that's why I didn't play this or that.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
well, the funny thing was when it got into turn 3, that's when he changed the plans to me, and he didn't swap my card out because he knew I still had all my good cards still in my hand. He's like, well, this is useless. I'm not going to change the plans to anything because you have a better card. And I'm like, I came out of turn 2 late.
So you were holding onto your good cards to the late game?
That's
No, well,
crazy.
it wasn't late game. It was when you change your plans. When you change your plans to me, it was, let's see,
Turn 3.
2, 3. Yeah, turn 3.
So then that
So
means the rest of the half you have your good cards, right?
I played my double the fall, because the initial part of the double the fall was I was gonna flip his, because he had a group of rebels still like within grasping range. So my I played double the fall because had he selected those rebels, I was gonna flip him back into the bag.
I think double fall is overrated. Honestly, it's very hard to pull off.
He was
And
he was pulling from the bag like he didn't have any order control,
yeah,
which
but
I had control.
I think
So
it's
it's like
overrated.
it was in my favor in that matchup. It's just he didn't want to. If he would have changed it to, if he would have flopped it out, then I would have did Fear, Surprise, and Intimidation, and then I would have got there. So like I said, it's just I played too passively. But at the end of the day, like he got away, and it was a hell of a game. That was mine and Grayson's first game. I'm looking forward to playing him again. I will be bringing Dooku again, Grayson. And that was it for that one. My second game. Veterans Game Pass. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this. Yeah, Longshank sucks. Not kidding. My second game was against. Had it. Open my tab.
If only we had time to prepare.
I know. My second game was cool. My second game. Oh, and that game me and Grayson played on was on the Naboo table. Which is like led to like some funky rules. But me and Grayson were like really chill about everything, so we weren't really gaming anything. It was just that, like I said, we asked you what the hell is this. Second game going over quickly was cool. I played Zach Newman, and he brought Echo based defenders. I've never played against Echo based defenders. I've heard a lot about them, how boogeymanish they are, and I was like, I wasn't intimidated because I just saw regular rebels. Yeah, it didn't dawn on me this was echo based defenders until he mentions it. I'm like, oh crap. Okay, cool. He puts a big old satellite dish. We're playing Hostile, Long March, and Intercept. So no, it's his deck. Um, and basically I spent the entire game staying out of range of the satellite dish while I began to pick apart his army. He flushed me on the left side with the Tauntaun, which just got massacred down to one Tauntaun, and then he doubled back. He sent another Tauntaun on the top flank, and then while he retreated the first Tauntaun, and he had the other pair on the top of the board, he flushed another Tauntaun group down the right to try to pressure me into. He was trying to push me into the cone zone, just to start getting obliterated by that satellite dish. And what ended up happening was Dooku ran up to the wall behind the line of sight blocker and started yoinking Tauntauns around the wall as the B2s just started reloading and shooting. Before he knew it, he was down 2 Tauntauns. And because it was intercept, like I didn't have to go for the first point, so I spent the first rounds just pummeling him. And I think the mistake that costed him the game was on the second scoring round. So round 4, he played round 3 he played the card where you get all the standbys. And I was like, I didn't tell him, we didn't talk about it till after the game, but I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'm just gonna not trip any of these standbys, and then when it's time to score, I'm just gonna go run and score in round 4. And then he looked at me, he's like, I think I may have played this card too early, and I'm like, we'll see what happens. So he wasted that card, and then that allowed me to press everything up and start getting ready for the turn 6, the turn 6 push. And what ends up happening is I forgot how fun it is to just win off of a force push. So we're in the final turns, and Dooku's the last one to go, and we are literally I've massacred like most of his army. So I know if it goes to tie, even if it's a flush tie, I win. So literally all Dooku did, he was up 5-3. I just ran up with Dooku, force push, and made it 4-4, and then I ended up winning the tiebreaker. Which it's nice, like to just be able to, like, no, you don't count. Like I forgot how fun that was, so I ended up winning that.
It's fun for you, horrible for your opponent.
Yeah, no, it's a feels bad. But after the game, I told him, I said, bro, you blew that card way too early. I said, what you should have did was you should have positioned everything up like going into the scoring round. This way, when I had to get in there to score, you were just blowing things up while your stuff moves in. That would have been the optimal play. What also didn't do him any favors too was opening turn 1, he used Leia's coordinated bombardment, and he tried to pick off all 3 of my BXs. And what ended up happening was I played Roger and gave my BXs all dodges. So between them spending all their dodges and Dooku pulling what he needed to, the BXs lived unscathed and ended up grouping up with AI and everything, tearing apart the Tauntauns. So that also kind of sucks for him, but we had fun. Third game was against Cody. He was playing Palpatine, range troopers, scout strikes with a stormtrooper and a naked the slow guy, snowtroopers. And that one got away from me because I got greedy. He had blue player, and we're playing minefield, advanced positions, and sabotage. I'm like, great. I don't even need a key. I just need to live. That's it. And I got it. And he puts this is where we play on this table where there's like this giant circle. He puts a one range trooper away from the entire army right by that center, as close to he can towards like the evaporator on that right side. I'm thinking he was going to smash the B1s on that side and then retreat back, which I would have lost that. But what ends up happening is I see that and I'm just like, if I could just kill those range troopers, that solidifies my win. So he calls my bluff. I put Dooku right across from them. I'm like, cool, I'm just gonna run, boom, hit it, and just get ready to go. Because at that point, nothing would be in range to take an aim and get to Dooku. I could just damage them and stay there, even if they withdraw or whatever. You know, they're basically left on an island by themselves. The dude calls my bluff. He plays a 1-pip to my 1-pip, and here's where practice should have pays off. I said, "Cool, we're going to a roll off."
What card did you use?
Fear, surprise, and intimidation to his
Oh, yeah, the
ambush.
cunning.
Oh, you forgot about cunning.
So had I remembered cunning, there's no roll off. So he wins the roll off, and the first thing he does is back up the range troopers and shoot a hole through Dooku, an undodged Dooku. And the whole time now I'm stuck because I got B1s like shooting range 4, trying to hurt these guys, you know, with rockets and not being helped. Because I had those B1s on an island, so they were AI procking. And I was just like, man, this got out of hand. And in hindsight, if I would have just put everything back and just guard my KPs or guard my VAPs, I'm good because I put the bombs on his VAPs. You know what I mean? Like he was gonna take damage. You know, he was gonna have lighter stuff. But I was just like full aggression, go, and I forgot about cunning. So I ended up just calling it because you ever have those games where you're trying to do damage control, and the more damage control you do, the more you're getting put in a bad position. Like it got to the point where I was like, I flushed 2 B2s out and snuffed one of his guys and severely wounded a range trooper. But the return fire I was getting was like, I got to get these B2s out and I got to get them out now. And before I knew it, like I couldn't get them out and they were dead. So what should have been a simple by the numbers book game turned into you are the biggest dummy on the face of the earth. So I lost that on cunning.
So right here, the lesson we've been trying to teach you for years is what?
Practice. And
so
and
what are we gonna do in preparation for LVO?
Play 50 games and then take a
Yes.
break.
Because consistently play games at least once a week. I would say more, but
no, you just have to know the list.
It can be MCP games though. It doesn't have to be Legion. So it can be any game.
Right.
And so
any game is practice. So
then my last game, if I had to pick like the funnest game, funnest opponent, it has to be against Dalen Cranston. You played him round 1.
Dalen.
Did you know? Did you know we played against him in a tournament prior to this? Do you remember that?
I did until he said like we met before. It was an Enders tournament.
The skirmish.
You felt like Thanos. It brought you back to me. I don't even know who you are.
No, he said like, "Hey, we played before." I was like, "Oh yeah, we skirmished in it." Jogged my memory of when
he won the vote for friendliest competitor, and you gave him the limited edition Luke Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, anyways, we get stuck on Naboo, and I'm playing. He's running Palpatine, Royal Guard, Shore Mortar with Bosk, and yeah, that's it against me. So I end up ends up being his deck because I chose table side. And so we ended up playing Fortified, Major Offensive, and Hostage, which why Hostage is in his deck, it made more sense to me as the game went on. Mm-hmm. So we start, and round 1, we run away, do your typical Hostage thing. This dude, round 2, launches the IRG forward and then double moves and charges my B2s and just starts mosh pitting them. I'm like, damn, he got there fast. I spent 3 to 4 rounds trying to get my guys withdraw. It wasn't the double move, but I was still pulling myself back. So slugfest. I hate the cylindrical cover of the trees because there's always something to shoot. But basically, what should have been a simple, I just got to get my guys back unscathed, turned into me fighting for my life for every inch. But the clutch point was he hit, so he knows he has to stop me from getting to my zone because I'm gonna win. Where I'm up in kill points because of my snipers, because I'm blowing up mortars, I'm blowing up wounding his units, and he launches the guards and Dooku just manhandles the guards. from the safety of a tree, just force push. You come over here. I'm not moving. Just come here. Let me talk to you real quick. Smash with the lightsaber. One thing that I wish I would have took back was when I retreated the B2s. So clarify this for me, if just to double check. Charge procs off of any move or a move action?
Move action.
Move
Okay.
action.
So what I should have did was, because when I retreated the B1s after the B2s after the initial collision, I was gonna force push them back into the B2s so the B2s wouldn't get shot anymore. Because Bosk was popping off shots too. And instead I pulled them in a Dooku and killed them. So anyways, he dashes Palpatine forward, the following round, and does "Now You'll Die." And I'm like, okay, I'm not worried about it because I got armor, I got all this. And it did it. So he does the lightning, 2 wounds, blocked, gone. Does the lightning again. Dooku takes 2 off the top with protector. They block out. Lightning again. Like, he's lightning, and I'm losing like 1 wound here and there. He can't get nothing through. And when the things he does get through, I'm rolling it off. So finally he's like, I go, you got 2 wounds. I said, you're gonna do it again? And he's like, yeah, lightning, nothing. Runs away with Palpatine. And he's like, I can't lose these 200 points. As he runs away, a BX with AI, no freaking aim, lines it up, and boom, and Palpatine just dead. 200 points gone. So now he's like, I still can't let this guy get away. So he rushes Bosk up, and I'm loving it because if he does not kill the hostage on this unit, or they panic and drop it, I'm just gonna double move back and win, because I have cunning and I have my 1 pip. So no matter what he does, like, nothing, I win. I get out of it. So Boss goes for the shot, boom, fails, misses, the crits aren't there. And then we go into the final turn, and Dooku just runs up, manhandles Boss, kills some more troopers, and I just double move back into the position. Ended up finishing 2-2. Like I said, hindsight 2020. Remember there's cunning. And 2, if it's go time and it's 1 pip, just play the 1 pip. Just play the 1 pip. I'm not saying I would have went 4-0, but I'm pretty confident I probably could have went 3-1 had I just not. And the other thing too, and Jared knows, Jared's an aggressive player too. When you got to play that patient game, it's just it sucks. And I have to learn to reel it in when I'm red player on sabotage, and I can win this just by backing up. Like, that is the best play, and it's just so alien to me. But Dooku has reignited a love for Legion that I forgot I had. And the coolest thing is, rarely anybody has seen the fierce Terminator themed B1s. So to hear everybody, those are badass. How'd you paint those? How'd you do that mirror chrome? Oh, like, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I can deal with it. But that was me.
Yeah. Well, sounds like some pretty awesome games there, my man. Like I said, get the practice in, because the whole point of practice isn't that you know your list. That's one of the key components, but it's also to see your list in different circumstances and situations and how it handles it. It's like, oh, maybe I need to put this in or this, but how can it stress test against certain conditions, scenarios, and things?
Well, yeah, because you'll come up against like crazy situational stuff where it's like, I've never ran into this before, or like, and the more you play, like you said, the more opportunity for just weird interactions, weird situations. They can be like, all right, I've done this before, and I did this right the last time, or I did this wrong last time, so let me fix it.
Yeah, and I got to get into that habit. But looking at my list, I think I'm gonna have to purchase Magna Guards, and swap out the B2s, because the reload on the B1s was just terrible. I think if I redo this list, I'm not bringing the rockets. I'll just let the B2s be the impact. But it just like,
well, the Magnus can take rockets too, no?
Yeah, but they don't reload. They just shoot, move and shoot. B1s.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would probably just swap out
if you're gonna switch out. Yeah.
The B2. I love the B2s though. Like, that's my thing. Like, I want to play stuff I love.
Okay.
We're gonna suck with them.
and I think Vigilance was I think, as much as I loved it, I think Vigilance was a trap.
It's too overcosted, man. And you got to get those dodges.
lot.
Yeah, and I think the getting dodges wasn't the hard part because I had the guys with the field scanner, but I even think that was like I think hindsight 2020, Jared was right on the call. I need to drop those scanners and vigilance
Well,
for
because how many scanners? How many scanners did you take just for that? How many?
2,
2, and how many points do they cost?
12 for 2.
So 12 plus
6.
another 12 for
6.
vigilance,
No,
right?
no,
Or
yeah,
6?
yeah. 24 points.
Yeah.
40, yep.
So I'm thinking,
Yeah, dude.
I'm thinking, because the scanners I got my money out of because there was the whole point of the list was throw dodges on Dooku or throw dodges on B2s while Dooku's grabbing damage, basically make the B2s or Dooku like invincible, which worked. That was, but it was just so much clunkiness to it. I just felt the Magna Guards.
You're trying to force it, yeah.
The Magna Guards gets rid of the clunkiness and gives me a more reliable rocket launching plus Guardian, so I don't need dodges for Dooku. They get Magnus get dodges to help them, not necessarily because they don't do Soresu, but either way. And I think I'd never wanted to be this person, but I think Dooku needs burst of speed.
I told you he did.
Yeah,
he needs to close that gap. He's too old. He can't jump over things, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna tweak the
Oh, he
list.
doesn't have jump?
No.
Neither did
Ooh.
Vader, but he jumped over a wall and murdered JR at LVO.
Well,
yeah.
Vader.
Because
Yeah,
he
Vader
had
doesn't need it,
burst
though.
Oh,
of speed.
He won.
Yeah.
That's why.
Just, but no, all seriousness, I love this list. I think I'm hell bent on taking this to LVO and working it like I put in the work in the Anakin.
I want you to practice Asajj Dooku. I think you will have a lot more fun with that because they both have Makashi Mastery. Just like you witnessed, nobody's coming up to Dooku. It's because of Makashi
Nobody
Mastery.
wanted anything.
Exactly. No one wants to go up against Asajj either because of that.
Dahlin was like, my Magna Guards have this stick. I'm like, yeah, it's useless. What?
So, all right, moving on, Nick. Now, I'll preface this. I know we're gonna get into our game, the heated, in my opinion, of your game.
What?
Go
Let's
over the
get Nick's side of the story.
Go over the other ones. We got to do a rebuttal back and forth when we get to our game.
You're here to defend yourself though this time.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
I'll say well. So just I won't talk about our game, but just so everyone knows that our game is going to be. You ever see the episode where Mr. Burns hits Bart with his car, and they both get to tell their stories? That's what our game's going to be like. I'm not sure who I am in that scenario, but. So I brought Rebels, and I brought all of the meta pieces. I had Jyn Erso. Yep, I paid 12 points, put vigilance on her. I had Din.
Oh my gosh.
I had Din with Grogu. I had R2. I had 2 vets, 2 MK2s, and then I had an air speeder and a land speeder.
That's pure meta.
And I had all the guns on the land speeder.
I gotta know right now, out of all your games, did anyone shoot at Jyn?
Yes. Yeah.
Did anyone kill Jyn?
Yeah, she died. Let's see. She didn't die in the first game. She died second game. No, she didn't die in the second game. Maybe she only died my last 2 games. So I think she lived 50-50. Yeah.
I think Roman, next time you need a prize. If Nick brings Jyn, whoever kills Jyn, that should be a prize in itself. I hate Jyn so much.
So sometimes she lives, sometimes she does. I had a game just the other day where I rolled 9 dice and I all blanks and she died. So it's like, and that was with her danger sense 4. So it just really depends. But so this tournament did not go as planned for me. So was not the best for me for a tournament because I won round 1. I hate winning round 1. I would.
Hold on.
Wants to submarine.
Okay.
Yeah, you got sub round 1, bro.
We're gonna get into it. Okay. I hate when you say you don't want to win because that's not true. That's not true at all.
No. Not that I don't want to win. I play to win. I do play to win.
Okay.
I like it when I don't win round 1 though, because then I know my rest of the day is easy breezy, no pressure, no nothing. I'm gonna play people a little bit higher than me, a little bit lower than me, maybe the same. Like it's going to be a fun day. And I'll probably finish that day 50-50. Like so. But when I won round 1, I played Michael. He was also playing Rebels. And he was playing like Cassian and Pathfinders, and I was like, oh yeah, I know Pathfinders. I play them all the time. They're terrible. So I was able. I think he's a fairly new player. He's been playing for I don't even know if a year yet. He's pretty new, Michael.
Yeah,
So he was probably a little too aggressive with his Pathfinders. So I was able to take them out. So it kind of went a little sideways from that point once I was able to take them out, just kind of attrition roll at that. But it was a fun game. It's fun to finally play Rebels out. I can't remember the last time I played against Pathfinders. I'm usually the one playing them. So that was my round 1, and I did win. So it's like, okay, so my day is ruined. I won round 1. Well, at least now I'll lose round 2. I'll lose round 2, and then I could have a nice day. And I played Rob. And I was like, oh, I'll probably lose to Rob. I don't have a Force user. He's got Palpatine and Vader. I'm like,
Rob's a good player too. He's
and
really
Rob's a good player. It's like, oh, I'll lose this game. No, I won the game.
Okay.
Oh,
What did you
man.
do?
He said you murdered his range troopers in like one go.
Yeah, so I don't want to tell too much because we want to let him recap it, but I did table him. And I don't know I don't know if I've ever tabled anyone before.
With Rebels?
That might be the first time. I don't even know if I've ever done that.
Rob was so upset.
Yeah.
I told him it sounded like a skill issue.
Was he cussing up a storm?
No.
But he was
frustrated.
He was frustrated.
Because he wasn't being mean or anything. He's like, no, he's playing good, this and that. Like, Rob was being very cordial about it. You can tell he's just frustrated at the game. He's like, how is this happening?
So he'll talk about it more, I'm sure, but what he did, right, wrong, I don't even know, but we were battle lines. We were oh gosh, now I have to try to think of what even objective we were doing. What was our objective? I'll have to think about what our objective. Oh, it was payload. We were battle lines. It was payload. I put everything like on the right side. He had everything on the right side. And and then I just threw the land speeder with R2 way on the other side of the board. And he did infiltrate Vader. And so he put Vader way on the other side of the board because I have to just stop R2 and then just get my payload. And I guess he felt like he couldn't let R2 just get the secret mission with no contesting. But I think in hindsight, that made him lose the game because then Vader didn't do enough.
Anything.
He didn't do enough.
And
yeah.
You know what Rob forgot too? Is that Grogu gives you a victory point.
Oh yeah, he forgot about Grogu because he didn't even need to do that because there was another victory point sitting right over there that he could just kill.
It would have nullified it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'll let him speak more of that, but yeah, he did not have as much. He did not have fun that game, but neither did I because now I went 2-0. So
Nick's like, dang it, I'm winning too much.
and I'm
to granola bars next time.
And I'm so serious when I say that because so I had to play my last 2 games against like the 2 best at least the top 3 players there, and I finished 2-2. I could have finished 2-2 going 0-1 in the first round. So it just made everything much more complicated.
But what if you won the tournament? You know what I mean?
Oh gosh, no. Gosh.
Hey, you wrote 2-0 by the time you got to me. That could have happened.
Yeah. And then so then our third game, I guess I could talk a little bit about my fourth game before we talk about the third game. That was a lovely game. It was very, very low key.
Yeah.
The fourth game I did play against Brad, against Maul and the Pikes and the Mandos. And it's so funny because, he's looking at my list and
does he have commander, Maul's commander, or just Maul as operative?
No,
commander.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rootcast or no?
Yeah.
Yes, Rootcast. Mm-hmm.
Dope.
Gar
That's
Saxon.
Dope. That's dope. Oh my man, that's dope.
Yeah. So he's looking at my list and he goes, "Oh, you have Grogu? Interesting." goes, interesting. I'm like, yeah. And I think he just forgot that he played me last year with Grogu. And he took Grogu. He took
That's
Grogu
right,
last year
yeah.
too.
He's a baby napper.
Yep. So yeah,
Repeat offender.
and it just, yeah, it was an okay game, but as soon as like that got in the mix and it's extra point and this like, yeah, so he took Grogu.
What was your guys' objective?
We were playing
Payload.
Payload. We were
Payload,
playing
yeah.
Payload again. Yeah,
Limited
Payload.
vids and battle lines.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a fun game. It was good. Brad's always nice to play.
He's a cool
I
dude.
yeah. I can't beat Shadow Collective. That's one thing I can't do. I cannot beat Shadow Collective. I don't think I've ever beat Shadow Collective.
You beat me.
Playing Shadow Collective?
Yes, I was playing quad mandos and pikes with whips.
Oh, well, that's maybe a different type of Shadow Collective. I've never beat pikes. Like people that bring lots of pikes
I
or
had
Black
pikes with
Suns.
whips.
But you didn't have that many pikes if you brought all those Mandos. You had a lot less pikes.
I had 3 pikes.
Yeah.
With whips.
I can't beat the Pike Span. I can't beat the Black Suns.
Gotcha.
I think it's just because they just enrage me so much.
Nick can just beat Jose. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah, they can beat Jose. Because I still am so upset that they gave that unit, my only special rebel keyword that I have to pay for elite points for, and they gave it to them on the core. So
Yeah.
that just upsets me.
Yeah.
But anyways, so my third game, JR, who did you play your third game?
I played against Palpatine. Who did you play against?
I played against this nice young gentleman, new player, I think. Had a little trouble with the rules, but I helped coach him through it.
Let's get into it. Let's see what
It's
happens.
about to get heated.
I don't know what he's talking about. I blacked out. So
yeah, I bet.
You went into a fugue state,
So, I mean, if you want to start, you can start, Nick. I was dwelling on it for a while, right? And I was just like, I had to have tilted Nick that game. And I was pinpointing where I tilted you. And it had to be turn 1 when I force push Mando into 4 standbys. That's where I think I tilted you.
What?
Because I have never had Nick been so aggressive towards me and just so relentless. And I was just like, I've hurt his soul playing all these years, and it's coming out now. It's all just coming at me right now. But anyways, go ahead.
no, that didn't tilt me. No, because I think Mando only took 1 wound from that, right?
He didn't take anything. That's the thing. It's like
he didn't take any wounds. That's right. Yeah.
Any wounds.
Yeah.
I just think you're just caught off guard by that because I was able to force push you, and then all 4 standbys went off, but I didn't do any damage.
Was it droids?
Yeah, it was all B1.
Yeah.
And I chose not to use the rocket because his airspeeder was coming in, and I wanted the rockets for the airspeeder.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think so. I think I was already in an odd state of mind because, like I said,
mad at the day.
Just something about your face, JR.
I'm 2-0 and I'm stuck here playing you.
I know
That's what it was. That's what it was.
It was. I don't go to tournaments for that experience. I just don't. That's not why I go. I go because I could get to play a bunch of Legion games, and
he sees me having a good time. He's like, "That son of a bitch."
Yeah. Because when you do get to that point, you're like, well, I guess I gotta try to win.
And I gotta say, I've never seen a slow playing Nick play a game before. Like, it was the slowest I've ever seen him make a decision. And to the point where I was just like, is he burning the clock? Like, I don't know what's going on. But this is just like the slowest game I played with him in my life. Like,
was I slow? I didn't think I was slow.
I mean, maybe it was me because 1, there was no clock to look at, right?
Yeah, and we did finish our game. We finished, so we did. Yeah.
2, it was I'm so quick to know what I'm doing that I always look at my opponent like, come on, you should know what you're doing. But I get it. Like, I also have been in that space where I'm just like, I don't know what to do. What's the right move here?
So for everyone out there, never assume I know what I'm doing. I don't have a plan.
So my assumption was that in the state, we both had our hostages. You were guaranteed to get secret mission, right? So I needed to at least get your hostage and get Grogu, right? But at the state of the game, and my assumption of you playing slow was that you get secret mission, you win the game, right? If it was called right then and there, you win the game. And so I was
True.
You know,
True.
I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but you need to make your move so I can make my move.
So it's funny you thought that because that never crossed my mind. I didn't even think about that as like a strategy. Like,
Well,
dude,
it's good because that's a horrible strategy, and no one should ever do that. No one should ever purposely burn the clock. Like, play your game, guys. Just play them.
you know, if anything, I think it's your proxies. I think that's probably what upset me the most.
No.
Which
Okay, go
which you
ahead.
didn't which you didn't even bring to the tournament, which is good. But
Mm.
just the fact that you have them, it's very
It's so
upsetting.
much fun. Play with boring stormtroopers. I want samurai stormtroopers. Thank you.
So I feel like I just gave you a good game, JR. I gave you a lot to think about. I gave you a little mental game. He was having fun.
So okay, all right. So like, what tilted me in the game? Like, I think our game was pretty good, right? I think we both had good back and forth. Um, I think it was when you called the dice. I think that's where it really got tilted because I get it. I didn't even know it was a rule until you said it. But even then, it's just like I rolled two blocks and you're gonna make me re-roll. That's like the most political thing you could do.
Wait, what do you mean call the dice?
So okay,
I
so
wanted him to use real dice. I
so
wanted him
okay,
to
yeah.
use
So
official dice.
the whole tournament, I okay. Let me start off by saying I won some Baron dice from LVO
Which are credible.
last year,
Not
right?
legal, but credible.
Last year or the year before. One of the years when I went, I won some Baron dice, and so I thought it'd be cool just to have a bunch of cool dice to roll. The whole tournament, I roll these dice. No one has a problem with it. Never. Nick knows I roll these dice outside of tournament games, and he never has a problem with it. Okay, I want to preface that. Then and I'm rolling my dice, and I roll two reds for Asajj, and she blocks both of them. And Nick was just like, those aren't official dice. You gotta
No.
Now, wait a minute. You're leaving something out. You're leaving something
no.
out.
What am I leaving
No,
out? What am I leaving out?
you're leaving out the roll before. You
Okay.
were gonna roll your B1s, and before you rolled, I said, "Oh, I want you to roll official dice." Remember, you rolled
Okay,
white
yeah.
dice
Oh, yeah,
first.
you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep. So
Oh,
when you picked up the red dice, I had already asked you to
true.
roll official dice.
But to be fair, I've been rolling those dice the whole game until you said,
I know, but he asked you to
right.
roll real
But
dice, not
another
your
thing,
imaginary dice.
another thing is that I don't have, because I didn't bring any non-Baron dice.
Well,
Like,
that sounds like a
and
problem.
and it was legal for the
You can
tournament.
share
So
dice.
what we did, we eventually did. But
He had to borrow my dice. He got them all oily with his droid hands.
I like tainted
Salty
them.
somehow.
I put them in. I was just like, B1 Battle Droids power come in and just taint these dice. So yeah, so that's what ticked me off is I rolled two blocks. Clearly, I didn't tamper with them or anything. And then you told me to re-roll them, and then I re-rolled them, and she takes a wound, and I was just like,
Yep.
That's the dumbest.
And I was able to kill Maul too. Maul died. That was a good.
Well, Maul always died. That's not the thing.
I haven't killed Maul in like 3 years, so no, he doesn't always die.
Maul
So-
to me just needs to get some stuff done, and then if he does, you can go.
So I thought it was interesting that JR was getting tilted because JR doesn't get tilted very often. At least I don't see it or experience it. When I saw it, I will fully admit I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna jump on this opportunity." And I went full into it, 100%. I was like, "Let's see how much I can get this guy tilted." I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have done that to anyone else. I wouldn't have done that to somebody I didn't know or anything like that. But I know JR. So like, oh, let's. I was full on seeing.
Let's preface this for a minute.
Let me play with his emotions.
Yeah, this is a kid who just took my candy from me and says like, that's not a legal candy, and then just started poking me. You don't got candy no more, and I'm just like trying to foster it in and just like, let it go, Brian, let it go. Let it go. But no, yeah.
So flustered, he used his real name in his internal monologue.
His government name.
His government name.
Yeah, but I was just like, man, Nick, you really just laid it on me, and I was just like, because you're right, I got tilted with the dice call.
He got you good.
I get it, but at the same time, I was just like, really, it was one of those moments. It was just like, okay, I get it, but at the same time, like I'm not. I didn't tamper with the dice, right? It was kind of
For
implying that.
assuming you didn't tamper with
Well,
the
no.
dice.
It was kind of implying that I had done something to the dice, right? But I know you didn't mean it that way. You know what I mean?
So it's interesting you took it that way, and obviously, yes, a lot of people would,
Mhm.
but I actually didn't mean it that way at all. In that sense, it was just use
Messing with
official
you.
dice. You
Yeah, play with the real dice.
play with your real
You know,
dice.
it's like salt on the wound. Is like then we had a league game to play the following day, and Nick was just like, "Oh yeah, you can roll whatever. It's a casual game. It's not a big deal." I'm just like, "What do you mean?"
I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to be at LVO and then Nick calls you on your bum models.
Well,
So
I'm gonna from now on, like, I mean, I do this already when I go to LVO. I ask the judges, like, "Hey, is this can I bring this? Because X, Y, or Z." And if they say yes, I'm just cool. I don't. They said yes to me, so no one should be able to say anything.
so they'll be interesting because and again, I could be wrong in this, but I think that is true. The judge could okay, but a player could still ask you to use your essential dice. Like they
Right.
still ask you to use official dice, even though it is okay to use third-party dice. If anyone says no, I want you the official dice, that you need to.
Yeah.
But I could be
No,
wrong,
I need
about that.
I need to get new. I need to buy official dice now because I gave all mine away to Rob when he started learning the game. So I'm like, "What do you mean, Nick? I don't got any red dice."
Do you play Legion with any official AMG or FFG product? Just asking.
So I have the FFG clear dice. Like once I started getting all the cool stuff, I was just like, I'm just gonna roll with these. Like I don't need all the other stuff. And then Nick does this, and I'm just like, God damn it.
You should have held on to some of that.
Yeah.
I was 2-0. I had to take it out on somebody, and I wasn't gonna do it to Brad. So yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be a punching bag for the tournament. But yeah, I guess we can go over my games unless you guys want to say that for the next episode.
Now we can do your games, and then the next episode with Rob, we'll go over obviously his Fest games, but also the league stuff, how it ran with him, and then your guys' finals and stuff like that. We can save that for them. There's plenty of content for that episode.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I
So
think.
I'll go over each game. Nick, we can go over our game too, just because we didn't really talk about it. But round one, I played Dallin, right? Dallin. We were playing on Dallin, and we were playing on the Tatooine one. Clear conditions, rollout, intercept. My list. So I figured people were gonna bring. I thought with EXD being the boogeyman, I thought people would tech against EXD. So I decided to tech against the list that counters EXD. So I brought the T series with improvised order, massage, burst of speed, force push, offensive stance, into the fray. Maul with burst of speed, force push, tenacity into the fray. Sith probe droids, 6 B1s with the rockets. It's at 800, and pretty much my goal is if you have armor, gone, delete it. Like that's my whole goal. Is my Sith assassins can handle anything else other than armor. Like get that off the board. So first game I played was against Dallin, and he hit running Palpatine Vader like you had said, Jose. Not Vader, just Palpatine.
Palpatine Bosk.
There you go, Palpatine Bosk. And we kind of the way we did rollout, so it's kind of like in between the buildings, and there was no man's land, right? There's a little like what do you call it? We're concave of just coming down the hall, and then the big old circle. Dallin's just lighting up my B1s, man. He's got the range, he's got Palpatine, and he's just lining up, and I have to take the beating because I have to get Maul and Asajj in position. So we're playing intercept. So I got my point, he's got his point. He's shooting my B1s. So what ends up happening is they shoot and then they go and hide. Like he shoots them down to like at least one model left. But there's a ton of B1s, so I have plenty of B1s to spare.
Heck yeah.
But if this keeps going, I'm not going to because turn one, my Sith assassins do nothing. Turn two, they don't do nothing either. All they're doing is moving to get in position. Turn three is when they really started going in because then Maul goes, burst of speeds, get into Bosk. I already been shooting at Bosk, got a couple wounds on him. I made the dumb mistake of shooting at Palpatine. He had a team leader he had IRG protector, and I think he had heal bots. So like I wasn't gonna get nothing through on that. So I decided to focus my attention on boss. I get him down some moons. I get him down to like I do 4 health, and he rolls and he recovers 2 of those health regeneration. I was like, that's so dumb,
Regeneration.
so dumb. But Maul. So what I end up doing is I have to give Dallin 2 options to choose from. Asajj and Maul each go into base contact with somebody. They attack them, and those guys already went. Force push, whole standby shenanigans, and then I have my point, and then there's the middle point with all the B1s. This is turn 4. So Dallin now plays Now You Will Die, and he has to make a choice. He can only kill one of my Sith because they're both in 2 different engagements. So whoever he bursts, like I'm kind of over by his point more. So whoever he bursts the speeds to, he's only killing that one, and then potentially the other one's going to kill him. Or he can go into the middle, try to kill as many B1s as he can, but then he leaves his point uncontested, and my guys are just going to kill that point. So he needs to do a lot with his Palpatine to secure his points. Unfortunately, the B1s managed to still kicking, and I think a B1 shot was able to take his last hit. And then my, of course, Maul and Asajj cleaned up the point, his point. So that's what I was most scared of was going against was Palpatine because of the Now You Will Die turn. If you can get me on a Now You Will Die turn in a position where I don't have a dodge, let alone if I do have a dodge, it's only 1 dodge coming out with the 5 attacks. I think it really messes up my list, but I was able to secure that win. Then
You didn't do Give Into Your Anger at all?
he did. No, wait. No, he didn't. No, he did. He did do Given to Anger, and he made me go with the T series. So the T Wars series, I think it might have been. Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a misplay because he should have probably did Asajj or Maul.
Yeah, Asajj. Maul's
Yeah.
courage, what, 3?
Yeah, his courage is
then-
3,
and then
but she has
Asajj is 2?
Indomitable. She has Indomitable.
Oh, yeah, then Maul should have been the target.
But you get the.
It's crazy that Maul's courage is at 3 though. Like it's so nuts that
Why? He
operative
literally
Maul is
fought
at 3.
2 Jedi's by himself.
It should be 4.
Yeah, it should be 10. What are you talking
It should
about?
be lower.
It
Should be
should
2.
Yeah, you know what? Big controversy. I think Grievous's courage should be higher.
No, he should.
Yeah,
He ran
Grievous
away.
should be 3.
No, he ran away all the time too. They're both scaredy cats.
Okay, no, that's not true at all. Okay, Grievous fought what? 10 Jedi's at once?
What? When did he fight 10 Jedis at once?
It was
The Clone Wars.
the Cartoon Network Clone Wars one. The
Genndy
badass version.
Tartakovsky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
that didn't really happen.
That's not canon.
That was a dream.
No, that was a dream.
I was about to say that, but that was just a dream, dude. What are you talking about?
Clone Wars is the dream to me. Like he got beat by Gungans. Like, come on, get that out of here.
He would run away all the time.
Nonsense. He was strategic, smart. Anyways, next game I played against Brad Bosman.
Bosserman.
Yeah, we played Limited Viz, Long March, and Intercept. And just like Niket said, he had Commander Maul with Gar Saxon, Root Cass, and a bunch of pikes. So we played on the inner table, and we had Long March. I already said that, Limited Viz, Intercept. So pretty much turn 1, we all just moved to the table. I infiltrate Maul behind a tree, and then Asajj double moves to where Maul was, and the Maul kind of double moves behind another building, close to the point where I can burst the speed towards it. So what I do with my probe droids is they're already on the point. So the first thing was I observe root cast, and then I take standby. And I'm shooting with my B1s aggressively at root cast because I want to dwindle down his Mandos, and she blocks everything. It is so annoying, and it's just like I get no damage through. He becomes very aggressive with his list, and he is moving his pike onto the point because, all my B1s need to do is just hop a little tree and get to the point. But he's shooting my B1s, and I decided to retreat them behind so they don't all go die. When it came down to my last 2 activations, and he had Maul still, I had 1 B1 onto the point, and he had at that point 4 people on the point. But I have 2 force pushes, and this is where force pushes is so good and so bad for your opponent. So what I end up doing is then I go with Asajj, She bursts the speeds into the intercept, like right in the middle. That way, if I get pushed, I'm still on the point. And I force push a Pikes out onto the out of the point. So now it's 3-2. Then he goes with Maul, double moves with Maul into Asajj, and like tries to do some damage to Asajj. She only takes one wound. So now it's back to 4-2. But then Maul goes and he force pushes. He actually bases the Pike. Then he force pushes Root Cast out, giving me 3-2. But what happens is I recohesion his Root Cast guys, the Mandos, into the standby of my Sith probe droids that procs it, and then I attack, and that gave me the 4-3 that I needed to win that point. But what was even more icing on the cake was I rolled 4 hits on that attack. He rolled 4 blanks on his Mandalorians, or three blanks, and 3 of them go down. Instantly, just cripple that unit. After all those B1s attacking,
taken out by probe droids.
Yeah, the Sith probe droids killed the Mandalorians. And so I think that's when the game was determined right then and there. Because what also happened is he forgot about his point in the back. He didn't leave anybody to cap that. So it came 2-0. And then from there, it just kind of became a snowball because he goes with Maul first against Asajj. He plays Duel of Fates. I actually play at last with Maul. And then he attacks Asajj, doesn't kill Asajj. So what Asajj ends up doing is force pushing Maul out into the open, jumps up onto the platform to attack Gar Saxon. And then all my B1 just lit up Maul, and Maul gets off the table. And then my Maul just does my Maul things. And that was that game. The next game I played, obviously Nick. So Nick, my thought process was in your game was I needed to save my rockets for your airspeeder. Your airspeeder was going to light up my B1s, and I needed that thing to go down ASAP. I was actually kind of glad you shot at my T series with your airspeeder. Even though it messed up my daisy chain, that means that I had more B1s to chew through because I think the airspeeder does a great job at deleting squads of B1s. And so once you did that, I knew I took the trade for your airspeeder. And then obviously I first pushed Mando into 4 standbys. Mando, I needed to go down a turn earlier, and he didn't. That was a little like caught me off guard. But obviously Maul did Maul things and just kind of like kept with the hostage, kill the hostage, go kill some more guys.
I'll take that. I'll take the T series any day of the week. I hate that T series.
Why do you hate it for?
Because it just passes out all the orders. That's not Legion.
It's so good. My last game was with Scott. Now I gotta say it was so good to go against Scott because I felt like Scott was in our league, and I felt like Scott was dodging me the whole league. I was trying to get my game with him. Life happens, stuff comes up. So it was kind of fitting that our game was going to be the finals because we didn't ever play our game in the league, so none of us know how we play or stuff like that. He ran 2 buses, 4 Black Suns, and then swoop bikes.
Fury Road.
What?
It was Fury Road.
Yeah. So pretty much the list, wants to go down my list, which is really good because I'm running B1s and the T series. So if you can get the comms jammer off, that's going to mess up a lot. Which on turn 1, he pretty much moved the bus up, and I just kept relentlessly shooting one of the buses that ended up going down. But before it goes down, he decides to move out with both his Black Suns to take a standby to shoot anybody else that's coming to shoot at the bus. But one of the Black Suns he does that with, he takes a standby next to my probe droids that also took a standby. So then I propped my standby to shoot off that standby. And then another one came out, took standby, and I would have one more B1, shoot that standby off, and then the other B1 kind of nail in the coffin for one of them. I think that was the key mistake there in that game because when I took both of those standbys off for the Black Sun, now that allowed both my Force users to burst the speed and get buried into his Black Suns, which kind of snowballed the game for me. He kind of got confused about card he played with Ploy. He thought he could go to the bag pull out a token, and then decide if he wants to go that or ploy. I corrected on that. And I think that was another decider for us because he really needed to go with the Black Suns before Maul could go.
So he never put a token on the card?
No, he did. He put
Okay.
a core, but he thought he can go to the bag, pull something, and if he didn't like it, he could go to the ploy one. I corrected him, like, no, you can't do that. Because when he pulled from the bag, he pulled the swoop bikes, which was great for me because he actually won the roll off for this turn. So I was expecting him to go with the core on the ploy, but he didn't, which ended up making Maul go. Maul then attacks, dwindles down some more Black Suns. He then goes with that Black Suns after the swoops, withdraws. Now there's a full Black Suns right there that's gonna light up Maul that has no dodge. So then what I decided is Asajj had one guy in the mini or in the unit still. So Asajj recovers, force pushes that unit out, and then moves into the other Black Sun and procs charge. And it pretty much, I was able to table him that game. And it was just a snowball of effects that kept coming. I think it was when the standby came out. But overall, fun tournament, good games, everybody. I did end up getting first place, so got that win.
God.
I'm sure people wanted to know.
All thanks to me. All thanks to me. I trained him. I trained him for that last game. He was ready.
Did you ever? You played the card with Asajj where you get to pick if she has Makashi or Bounty?
Yeah, you always do Makashi.
Okay, that's what I was wondering if you ever got like frisky enough to do a bounty.
Nah, I hate Makashi.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Well, you know, it should not get rid of impervious.
What? Why?
Yeah, it's immune pierce. Like
no
version.
No, it's not. But that's the thing. It's not immune. The reason you have impervious is because you suffer from pierce. You don't. That's right. You have it because you do suffer pierce. You're not immune.
Nick,
Makashi should only get rid of immune pierce. I should keep my impervious.
I agree.
I'm just gonna say this, Nick. I mean, I'm. It's gonna be a cop out here, but that's just how the way the rules are.
I know, but I want those changed.
And I want better cover rules.
I was saying, Nick, when you saw that I got tilted in our game, did it give you some satisfaction?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Oh gosh, that was the best ever.
It's okay.
It's funny now, but it's funny. It's funny now hearing you think, or you thinking maybe I was trying to stall for time.
You went to the dark place, started making accusations.
Well, no,
you turning them against me.
I think it's a good lesson for all players, right? What one person's thinking on one side of the table for the other. I'm just having fun over there, messing with JR. Moving my R2 really slowly behind a tree, what doesn't matter, and he's thinking that I might be stalling, so I win. And I that never crossed my mind at all. Because I didn't even think I could win. I didn't even.
I'm so glad you said that. Okay, so this is where I was in my head a bit because I was just like, all right, Nick definitely cares, or like I feel like I definitely tilted you because one. For that force push I did with Mando. The second one was I thought you were slow playing. And then the third was when Daniel came over to our table. I was just like, okay, who's winning and everything. And then Nick said, oh, GR, if GR doesn't win this, he's the worst Legion player in the world. I was like, yeah, shots fired. Shots fired.
I did. I said, JR brought 2 force users and I have none. If he doesn't win, he is terrible. He should not lose this game. There's no reason you lose that game.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't bring a force user and I brought you a victory point. You better win.
And I brought you a victory point. It's wrapped up right here.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I'm glad I went this year, and I'm glad. Hopefully, it get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah,
that was tons of fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely will. If it plays out right, yeah, I want to do an MCP event on Sunday.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. Are you talking about like a tournament?
I don't know if a tournament. I mean, a tournament, yes, in that will pair, but we don't. Our
maybe we can do what we were talking about with the one shots. Just be like every round you're playing a one
shots. Yeah, I mean our scene right now, which is totally nice. We're not they're not super competitive. Everyone really just plays for fun. So if they still want to come out and do that, that'd be great. But it'd be very casual still, even if it was a tournament.
I was gonna say you guys can thank Nick. We might have lost a Legion player to MCP.
Hmm?
So my buddy John went to go play MCP, and
Oh yeah.
he fell in love with it, man. He just fell in love with it.
It's such a good freaking
it,
game.
it is. It's
I love
fun.
MCP. I'm joining Nick's league. So here's the thing. So for those who don't know, Rob throws the leagues, and he always cooks up like all these fun things. He's working on something right now. Not gonna say what it is. So I'll let him say it. But I actually might not play in this season, and because I'm like, number one, I'm not really feeling this league, the new league rules, and I'm already signed up for Nick's MCP league. So
Like that's what I want a Shatterpoint to be. I want a Shatterpoint to be what MCP is now. But obviously you can't do two games the same way, or it's just boring.
Yeah, no, it's gotta be different. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, the new next league for Legion, I have not read the whole document.
you saw the photo.
I was trying to read
have
through it, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna
I
have to talk
have
to Rob and be like, you explain this to me, please.
I have seen one sentence that
Oh
says
yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
oof, I don't know.
Nick's offended.
My kid goes with me everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Pussy battle against Rob.
That I can't bring Grogu.
Well, we'll have to. So on the next podcast he should be on, and I want him to kind of explain the league.
I'm in your corner, Nick. I'm
Yeah.
fighting for you.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
your lawyer.
He'll explain the league and everything, and he hasn't finalized it. That's why he put it
No,
out there.
he's taking feedback. You know what? I threw this out to him.
F you.
He didn't take it, so now I'll throw it out to you guys and get you guys see if you like it. We should do you should have to declare a warm bounty and a cold bounty.
What's a warm bounty and
What
a
does
cold
that
bounty?
mean?
Yeah.
So cold bounty would be same bounty rules. Warm bounty is after you defeat that unit, somebody's got to go pick it up and bring it back.
I think that's what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
No, and maybe he's doing it that
Because there's the
I thought-
bounty, the bounty rule, and then there's the hunted rule. And the hunted, you have to go pick it up.
so mine was it didn't have to be the bounty hunter though. You could pick
Oh,
know,
you can pick somebody?
You get
yeah,
pick
so
your
whoever you
target.
pick for your bounty.
Like
Doesn't have to be the bounty
hypothetically, I
hunter.
could pick a B1s.
No, still to be
Oh.
a commander or operative, but it doesn't have to be their bounty person. I thought in his rules it has to be the bounty.
Oh yeah, it does have to be the bounty in this rule.
Yeah, so I would say like, you could pick Obi-Wan, even though if you can get Obi-Wan, and it would give you 2 points.
Yeah, we'll have him on to explain it. I know he hasn't finalized it, so like let him work it out and everything. And yes, Nick, tell him I want Grogu. So that way, you can obviously.
Well, the thing is, like, if you don't get Grogu, like, you cost Mando health points, and you cost him a command card.
And I can't spend 17 points on it, so gosh.
Nick's like, what am I gonna do with 17 points? You know what's funny?
He's like,
He did.
he's like, I don't want the bid, but I guess I'm gonna get it.
No, what's gonna happen is he's gonna play the event. Rob's like, hard line, no Grogu, deal with it. Nick's gonna realize how much more valuable those 17 points are over Grogu, and Grogu's just gonna walk off onto a shelf and never be seen again.
Oh, never.
You say that now.
I already have my LVO list, and it starts with Din and Grogu, and
Right.
the Bad Batch,
I'm gonna say Bad Batch.
yeah,
Oh.
Bad Batch,
Bad
yep,
Batch,
and Jin,
Oh my. Why
Because I have-
Jin?
because I have to take Underworld connections because I don't get Rebel units.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, man, that's whack.
Yeah. So yeah,
I don't know why anybody would play Rebels.
Bad Batch comes out Friday too. Friday, right?
Oh.
Yeah, we
That's
just got
Friday.
him. Yeah.
And tomorrow we're gonna get news for the extravaganza, so that's gonna be exciting.
Mhm.
I'm excited to hear about that.
I'm gonna be stuck on my phone at work. What are you doing? Catching people? Not catching this news.
I read the document that Rob put out. I think it's gonna be fun. I know it's a little convoluted,
It's
but like
too
when
much.
he irons it out and like when he explains it, I think it'll be just fine. We'll see what happens. though.
Yeah. I need to get reps, and I've already like committed. to playing LVO and to getting better and whatnot. So I gotta get games in.
The
Yeah.
best way to
Hey,
do that is with the MCP league. So
and-
just
and you're-
I'm already in it.
all right, all right.
And the best part is he got to practice game with Toby.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see if Toby shows up.
You're gonna
Yeah.
smash him. He's gonna be like, I quit.
That game's not happening. That game's not happening.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think so. Rob's rolling through at least, so maybe I'll play with him. We'll see.
I do have a question. I know this is not an MCP podcast, but where do you see the affiliation at?
There's an affiliation document on the AMG website, so it's
I
a
gotta
separate
go
rules
to
document.
something else.
So
Are you gonna do
but
MCP, Jer?
So
instead go to Jarvis. Jarvis
Yeah, go
is
to
a
Jarvis.
is a army builder,
Jarvis has
and
it.
it
Jarvis
lists
is
all the
so simple,
affiliations on every
bro.
character.
what's it called? Jarvis what?
Jarvis, like JARVIS.
So
Jarvis
like-
Protocol.
Okay.
so before we get into any other side stuff, I want to just give a shout out to all the players that went, and so big shout out to JR for winning it. You know, what a guy, just leaving room for all of us to try to win it. Shout out to
I did
Brad
last year, okay?
Shout out to Brad Busserman, Scott LaFountain, Daniel, I get his name, Heron. I'm so bad. Cody McBride, Grayson Parker, our very own Nick, our very own Rob, me, Zach Newman, Andrew Helen, Dolan Cranston, Justin Hiltebeidel. I'm sorry if I completely messed that up. Michael Hernandez, Tribadum, and Jonathan Keith. And the biggest thank you to Roman for organizing it and setting it up for us to have a good time.
Yeah, I was gonna say was so like I told you, Nick got John into the game. Like John's like committed to play this game and everything. And I figured, he's my roommate, so I'll build a team together. Like, so the way I look at MCP is I'm not a huge Marvel fan. I just like characters in the Marvel universe. Like that's what I would want to play, just the characters that I like. Whereas
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Star Wars,
me
I'm a
too.
huge Star Wars fan. Like I'll play, all of them if I wanted to. But yeah, I figured I'd get like a cool little team. Like I saw that they had X-23 and Honey Badger. I was like, ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
They
playing
got a bunch of
X-Men, bro.
symbiotes already too. They got a lot of
Yeah.
symbiotes already too.
So
They got
if they keep,
Carnage,
Venom?
Agent
Agent
Venom,
Venom.
Venom.
yeah, if
Yeah,
they
so
keep
it's just a
coming
matter
out
of
with
time.
more, it'd be pretty sick. So I want to build an X-Force team. I think that'd be dope.
X Force was cool. I almost did
Good
X
team.
Force, but I don't play enough to have a second squad.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. And I know John's getting into it, but we'll see where I'm at.
What are we gonna call the Crisis Protocol group?
Crisis
Has to be something
Lads?
Simpsons related.
Crisis Labs. Is that what you said?
Crisis Lads.
Crisis Labs. So yeah, but anyways, awesome tournament. Yeah, just like Jose said, I'm glad everybody came. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Until next
Later.
time.